Charlie, you did such a great job in this, and I wanted to know
so
first off,
much.
how much did you even really know about the Getty family before you started?
I barely knew anything about it before I started. I mean, as soon as I had read the script, that's when the ball started rolling for me. And then when I got the part, of course, I really dived into it. Or I don't know if that's what we said. But I tried to know as much as I could before we started filming.
How do you get into the mindset of a young man, 16 years old, who thinks the world is at his fingertips, and he's kidnapped and he's helpless?
Well, I think it's just what you said. I mean, I think the world was at his fingertips in a lot of ways, and his friends and his lifestyle. I mean, he wasn't in school at the time. He was really just having the time of his life. But I also think, you know, there was a lot missing from his life. He had a pretty poor relationship with both of his parents, and I think a lot of his friends as well, from what I've read. But then when everything is taken away from him, I think that was a big moment for him. And I think especially because he had so much seemingly at his fingertips, yet at the same time there was a lot missing. It really focused, at least in my interpretation of it, I think he did end up focusing on those bits that were missing a lot more.
What a harrowing experience for a young man, for anyone, obviously.
Yeah.
But just take me through shooting some of those scenes and how someone like Ridley Scott helps you get through something like that.
Well, Ridley really takes the pressure off. He really just enjoys so much of what he does, and he enjoys being around the people that he's around. And so I think in a lot of ways, while the scenes were very intense, and it was a serious process, of course, he really did find the joy in it. And I think I could always count on, after the scene was over, being able to go up to him and joke with him right before we go back into it. But he's just, I mean, and I think it's just, he follows, or I just followed him all the way through, because I think he is such a world-class leader in so many ways, and so I just followed his lead.
He's brilliant. I mean, the guy's 80 years old. You would just never know it. Where
I
does this energy come from?
I don't know, man. You're gonna have to ask him that one. I'd love to know, though, if you do find out.
Yeah, I'll let you know, because I want to know too. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. I don't know how he reshot this film,
always,
and it's quite extraordinary. And what he's done is historical, I think, in terms of what
I
he's
agree.
done with this film. You didn't get to work with Christopher Plummer at all, but did you get to meet him ever, or talk to him, or what?
I just did yesterday for the first time, and he's such a kind person, and I mean, I've looked up to him my whole life, and some of his performances, I mean, Sound of Music, but even just in Beginners, and I mean, he's done so many films where he's such a talented actor, and especially as a theater actor as well. Just being around him, it's incredible.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to that this is a true story and that this happened, but to think about someone who has so much money, who has unfathomable that he has this much money and he wouldn't help his grandson, you know, his namesake, because he just didn't want to spend the money, and he was worried about other ransoms. And, you know, how do you wrap your mind around a man like that?
I don't know, but Christopher did do it somehow. I mean, I think for me, he's such an interesting person. He's such an interesting character, and I'm so glad that he was represented by Christopher in the film.
Yeah, very good. Well, you did a great job, and I have to say, I also saw you in Lean on Pete.
Oh, yeah.
What an extraordinary performance you did in that.
Thank you so much.
You broke my heart.
Thank you.
That must have been, wow.
That's
making
another
that film.
tough one. Yeah, I did that right before I did this one, actually. Yeah.
People, go see both of these. This guy, you're going to be seeing him for a long time. You are extraordinary.
Thank
what a
you.
pleasure to meet you.
Such a pleasure to meet you.
Happy
as well.
holidays to you,
Yeah,
Charlie.
you as
Thank
well.
you.